Hello everyone, welcome, happy fall. Today we are going to be crafting and celebrating the chillier weather. We're going to be making some blankets for our ponies. A while back I did do a blanket DIY tutorial. Today we're going to be making a different style, and this style personally is my favorite. For materials, we're going to need felt, and I have selected fall colors. You're going to need 2 to 3 millimeter ribbon, scissors and pliers, several 6 millimeter jump rings, 12 millimeter lobster clasp, pins, and quite sadly I only have one, a pattern for your blanket so you can cut out your felt easily. I have this one that I've used for a really long time. If you don't have a pattern already, they're really easy to make out of paper. I just cut a piece and then I place it on my model horse and I just cut it out in the shape of a blanket. And I did forget to almost mention hot glue, but you will need a hot glue gun and hot glue sticks. I also just got my light plugged in, so hopefully the lighting's a bit better. But the first step is to take your pattern and get my single pin and pin it to the felt. And now, of course, we're just going to cut it out following the pattern. Now we have our blanket cut out. The next step is to round off the corners on all the ends, even at the front. So these two on this side and then on this side as well. So it just will look like this, and I think it makes it look a little more realistic. After you're finished with that, we're now going to set our actual blanket aside, and we're going to take a piece of felt and we're going to cut what I kind of describe it as an hourglass shape out of the felt. It's kind of odd, but I'll show you what it looks like. So it looks like this right here. I know the lighting isn't that great today. It's very dark outside today. You're going to take this piece of felt and you're going to glue the bottom end of it, just like that. This is going to be the padding for the withers. And then you're going to add a dot of glue on the back. Then fold down this piece of felt and then glue it down on the back of the blanket. Now I'm going to get 6 jump rings. I'm going to take one jump ring and the end of the ribbon, and I'm going to thread the ribbon through the jump ring, pull it back through just a bit so you have like a tab of ribbon sticking out on the other end. And then onto that little tab, I'm going to apply some hot glue. Then you're going to fold the tab back down on the ribbon and press it together. So basically you just glued this jump ring to the ribbon. If any of the glue squeezes out, I just trim that off with my scissors. Now I'm going to cut this quite short, just like that, and I'm going to make 6 of these. So I just realized I said you need 6 of these when it's actually you only need 5, not 6. Now I'm going to apply glue to the back of one of the little jump rings we just made, and I'm going to glue it right at the front of the blanket. So just like this, notice how I didn't put it right at the front, I set it back in a bit. The next one is going to go on the side of the blanket, kind of at an angle. This one's going to go on the side of the blanket as well at an angle, but it's going to be angled towards the other one, if that makes sense. So it's going to look like this. The last 2 will be glued at the back of the blanket. So now with everything glued on so far, the blanket looks like this. Now I'm going to use my pliers and open up a jump ring and put on a lobster clasp and then close it. Then I'm going to thread the ribbon through the jump ring and glue our little lobster clasp jump ring to the ribbon. And then I just cut it like we did the other ones. And of course trim off all the messy glue. Now I'm just going to apply glue and glue it to this side of our blanket at the front, just like this. Now I'm just going to apply some glue to the end of the ribbon, and I'm going to glue, I always do this upside down, so and I just glue it onto the side of the blanket at an angle, and then I cut it about this long. Then I add glue to the end of the ribbon again, and I glue it on the side as well at an angle, kind of like just what we did on the other side with the little jump rings. So it should look like this. Now I'm going to take the lobster clasp on this end and clip it to the jump ring on the other end. So it's going to close the front of our blanket, and I'm going to slip the blanket on our model horse, and I'm going to bring the straps so they're going to cross. So the one on this side is going to go to the jump ring on the opposite side, if that makes sense. And I'm going to trim them to the right length. So it just needs to be a tad shorter. Then I trim them both to the same length. Now I'm going to make 2 more of these little lobster clasp jump rings, just like I did here, only I'm not going to glue ribbon to it. I'm going to take one and I'm going to glue it to the end of the ribbon on our blanket. And then I'm going to do the same with the other one. Our blanket is almost finished, but there's one more piece we have to make. So I have yet 2 more little lobster clasp jump rings, and I'm going to take one and glue it to the ribbon. Then I'm going to cut the ribbon about that long, and I'm going to glue the other one on the other end. So now this piece goes and it clips onto these little rings at the back of the blanket. So this strap is just the little strap that goes under the tail, just like real blankets have. All right, everyone, we are finished. That is my favorite way to make blankets for Schleich horses. I am going to be putting a few of these up in my tack shop really soon, so the link to my shop will be down below. I'm going to add another size to the blankets I post in my shop. So I've always just done average adult size blankets, but I want to add average small adult blankets. That way the sizing can always be on point with all the different size models. Like this little lady, she would be like a small adult Schleich horse. Anyway though, thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye!